Hello and welcome to BikeWale. I'm Anuj and I'm here at the Kari Motor Speedway in Coimbatore to be a part of a very special event organized by Royal Enfield. We are here to witness the first ever edition of the Continental GT Cup Racing Series. So for those of you who don't know, Royal Enfield has been a major part of many racing events in the past, like the 1914 Isle of Man TT, the 1960 Big Bear Run and the 2020 Daytona at the American Flat Track. And so with a rich racing heritage, Royal Enfield has started its own racing series, but in a very unique retro racing format, in which the riders will be competing against each other on the race-spec Continental GT-650 machine, which is called the GT-650R, which you can see here. So this racing series is actually meant to provide a platform to the aspiring racers to showcase their skills in a safe and fun way. But how fun and how safe it is? That's what we are here to find out, to ride the GT650R race-spec bike, to witness the first ever edition, the first round of the racing tournament. So I'm very excited and I hope so are you. So let's find out how it unfolds. The Continental GT Cup is presented by Kari Motor Sports with the support of FMSCI. It's a 4-round series with 3 of them planned to take place at Kari and the finale to be held at BIC. As for the riders, Royal Enfield chose 100 eligible riders through an online registration process. Out of these 100, top 18 fastest racers were selected in the rider selection program, who will be competing against each other in all 4 rounds. Now that I have given you a lowdown on the racing series and the riders, it is time to ride the bike around the racetrack. But before I do that, I'll take a quick walk around and tell you what all changes have been executed in the bike. So first of all, there is this retro bubble type fairing which looks lovely, and it is lighter, sleeker for better aerodynamics. Then there are JK race tires. The suspension setup front and rear have been tuned to be on the stiffer side for better handling. Then the ergonomics have been changed. The clip-on handlebars are much lowered and the foot pegs are rear set. And while the 650cc parallel twin engine has been remained unchanged, there is this bespoke stainless steel exhaust which is much lighter than the stock exhaust, and Royal Enfield says it contributes in enhancing the performance by 12%. So let's see how all of these changes fare on the racetrack. The first time I hopped on the bike, I was taken aback by how committed and focused riding stance it offers. You have to bend quite a bit to reach the handlebar, and the foot pegs are like where pillion foot pegs sit on the production bike. Although the ergonomics are very committed and sporty, all the discomfort fades away amidst the loud throttling and rumbling exhaust note that has been reverberating beautifully across the racetrack. Let's listen to it. Once out on the track, the changes made in the bike started showing their effects instantaneously. The first major change that was quite pronounced was acceleration. It was noticeably quicker as compared to the stock bike. It was quite eager to reach its red line, which was thanks to the revision in the final drive ratio. The front sprocket of the bike has 14 teeth instead of 15 in the stock bike. While this made the motorcycle peppier to exit out of the corners, it also meant I was hitting the rev limiter pretty early. That being said, this engine is quite forgiving due to the abundance of torque available across the rev range, which means incorrect selection of gear around corners wasn't a big problem. Then the tweaked suspension setup also helped in inspiring confidence around the track without feeling squishy and unstable. And given the bumpy track that the Kari Motor Speedway is, the undulations were soaked neatly without disturbing the motorcycle. But the star of the show was the tires. The bike we rode had soft compound rubbers by JK Tires wrapped around its 18-inch spoke wheels. These tires never made me feel nervous by delivering commendable grip and feedback. Well, it's not all roses though. Despite the major weight reduction measures, The bike weighs 180 kilos, which is pretty heavy. You have to literally muscle and fight the bike to make it do the things I want it to do. At times, I couldn't gauge its lazy responses properly and ended up running wide around certain corners. And the heft also affects the braking as you have to go really hard on them to stop in time. The feedback from the front brake lever isn't very impressive either. Ooh, this was fun. So this was obviously not the most agile and flickable bike I have ridden around a racetrack. But still, if you understand the dynamics of the bike, if you let it do its own sweet thing in its own sweet time, then it can be rewarding. And the thing that I like the most about this bike are these tires. They are super grippy, super sticky around the track, and even the stiffened suspension setup, they work reasonably well even if you're pushing the bike. Now, after we were done riding the bike, it was time to sit and watch the expert racers show us how it's done. After the qualifying session on day 1, the first race on day 2 was truly a treat to watch. As it was expected, the racers were doing all the things with the bikes which many of us journos weren't able to. And all the 18 racers put up a show that was nail-biting and worth watching. After all of them pushing it to the hardest they could, the race ended with Hubli's Anish Shetty clenching victory. He was closely followed by Alvin Xavier from Thrissur to claim the second position, and by close, I mean 0.117 seconds close. Finally, finishing race 1 in the third position was Jayant Pratipati, who started the race in 8th place on the grid. In the second race, the top 2 positions remained unchanged, but the third spot was taken by Anfal Akhtar from Thrissur. Now, the second round of the Continental GT Cup will take place from 18th November, and it remains to be seen if the champions retain their positions or tables turn.